But then we had, we'll talk about them all together. We had the Law and Otis skits through the night, which was the teased official legal stuff between Otis and the Miz that's been teased and delayed for a while. And it was basically just a bunch of skits. There were 3 of them throughout the night. And it was just them in a courtroom. JBL was the judge overseeing it, with Ron Simmons also there. And by the end of the first segment they did, with Miz kind of saying, Otis is wrong. He's had money in the bank negligence. He's put me through emotional trauma and physical trauma and blah, 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 blah. And Otis just, his defense was, yeah, but I won money in the bank. And I was like, by the end of the first segment, I was like, you know what? This is really stupid, but I really like it. I feel like we could get some really funny skits here on the rest of the night. And we didn't get that because it got way less funny really quick.
Yeah, it did. It was kind of like they had a good idea. And then they just went, but we need it to be a lot longer than that. So let's
drag it out.
Screaming in Japanese.
Wait. We'll get there. We'll get there. So yeah, after the first one, it was just a very basic Miz and Otis saying their piece. Miz fired the person he'd hired because she wanted to talk, and also I like the fact when Otis gave his defense, she turned to Miz and Morrison were laughing at each other, saying, "And you want money in the bank, whatever." And she turns to Miz and just goes, "That's a good argument." And Miz just looks at her, just like really offended, just goes, "You're fired." Like,
to be fair, if you were in court and they said something, like the defense said something, and the prosecution went, well, "That's a really good point, actually."
It's a good point.
You would fire them. Like, no, you're not supposed to say that out loud, even if it is true. Don't blame me at all.
So yeah, so after the first one, I was feeling optimistic. I was like, you know what, this is pretty funny. I'm optimistic about this. But then the second one came in later on in the night, and it was a bunch of witnesses saying their accounts of what's happened with Otis's Money in the Bank run. And John Morrison is there saying he's got emotional scars, which wasn't all that funny. Miz gave him a thing to blow his nose, which was also supposed to be funny, I think. It wasn't. Rey Mysterio, I thought this was going to be hilarious, because as soon as I saw Rey, I was like, oh, he was in Money in the Bank. He got thrown off the roof. I was going to talk about how he died, right? Being thrown off the roof. It's going to be really funny, in meta joke. No, he said, I was there. Otis won. He should cash in when he wants. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, Ray, your comedic timing is like you said, it just got progressively less interesting. It was like they went to Ray, mate, we haven't got anything for you to say. Just imagine you're actually in court. What would you say? And he goes, Otis won.
Otis won.
I fell onto a smaller roof.
If he'd have said that, I'd have passed it. If he'd have said, I was there, Otis won, I feel like he should cash in. I was there, I got thrown off the roof. Even if he'd have just said that as a little line into it, I would have been okay with it. But he didn't say that, and I'm very upset about it. But then after that, they had Asuka come on, who just said Japanese, which I thought was funny. Her just being just reading off Japanese, and everyone's being like, would have been very funny if they'd have just left it there. But then JBL turns to an unseen figure and just says, "Did you get any of that?" And then suddenly Teddy Long's there. Former SmackDown general manager Teddy Long, and he said, "I got every word." I was like, Teddy Long speaks Japanese, and then Asuka just goes, "Holla, holla, holla." And I was like, what am I watching right now? I'm so confused as to what's happening.
Yeah. You can book Teddy Long on Cameo now. I'll find out how much he is if anyone's wondering. But,
and the thing with Asuka's thing is her saying holla, holla, holla wasn't funny. It was kind of cringy.
I know he's no longer available.
Oh no, WWE must have taken it, you reckon?
Which is crazy because someone reviewed him today.
Oh, well, he's deleted it right now then. Exclusive on the SmackDown podcast. Teddy Long, no longer available on Cameo.
Cody, who works on the WrestleTalk website, he got one from him 3 days ago. That's how I knew Teddy Long was. Yeah, he appeared on WWE. That means Teddy Long has been signed to a new contract. Teddy Long is going to be in Hell in a Cell.
Exclusive right here. But yeah, after that, I was like, what am I watching? This is really weird. Tucker then was next in the witness stand, and then he said that he wasn't very funny either. It was just more serious stuff of him just being like, I want to beat up you, Miz, because you're mean about Otis, and you drafted Mandy Rose to Raw. And it was like, and then I got in my own head about it, because I was like, but then Tucker, you didn't get drafted, and then you chose to go to Raw. Why did you do that? That doesn't make any sense, Tucker.
And also, Tucker, one of the things that Tucker was so annoyed about was the fact that Otis wouldn't stop talking to Mandy. So why would he care that much that Mandy's getting over to Raw?
I don't know. But then he says he wants to beat up Miz. Everyone kind of goes, whoa. JBL calls for a recess. And then Teddy Long just goes, I need to pee. And I was like, comedy? What is that funny?
On Cameo, you only get him for like a minute. So
that's fair, yes. Then he had to bounce. Totally.
He had to go. But I mean, so Tucker, Miz, and Morrison, they're all Raw stars. Was the Raw count 3 on the Raw count? There was no one else, was there?
Asuka
is okay, 4.
Raw. Ray's SmackDown. Tucker's Raw. Morrison's Raw. Miz's Raw. Yeah.
Just the 4 then. Just the 4 Raw stars.
Just the 4 Raw stars on the SmackDown segment. Yeah. It's fine. You know, they don't have to stick to brand splits when they're in court. You know, that's whatever.
I guess so. If you've been invited to court, you have to attend.
Yeah. And then the third and final segment, which was straight after the second one after an ad break, was JBL giving his verdict. The one bit I did like, the through line throughout it, was the Law and Order dun-dun sounds that they kept playing. And everyone, for this one, they just reacted to it, which was quite funny. And it was just, they just did dun-dun. Everyone just went like, the hell is that? Like, again, there's little bits where I'm just laughing at it, but the whole thing as a whole, I'm just like, that was not great. JBL was going to rule against the Miz because he literally doesn't have a case, because he's just saying, like, Money in the Bank holders have a year to cash in. It hasn't been a year yet, so, there's no case. But then Miz goes, well, you haven't seen this evidence, and it gets out a briefcase, hands it over to JBL.
He literally did have a case.
And, yeah. And then JBL kind of pops open the lid, and you know what's in the briefcase. It's quite clearly money, but just to make sure you know it's money, there's a really goofy cha-ching sound effect when he opens up the briefcase.
Like, it's almost like they could have edited those big dollar signs in his eyes.
It's exactly the kind of goofiness it was like.
And then you could have like put it in a sack that just said swag on it with a big dollar sign.
Yeah.
Ran out of the courtroom afterwards.
Exactly, yeah. So then JBL succumbs to the bribe and says, nope, JK, Miz wins, lol. On Sunday at Hell in a Cell, Otis, you have to defend your Money in the Bank briefcase against the Miz.
I mean, surely, if he's the judge...
We've got a fifth match.
If he's the judge, he could have just gone, Otis, give your briefcase to the Miz. Rather than going, Like, is that all the Miz wanted? Like, Miz was like, mate, here's loads of money if I can have a match.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but you know what? All of it didn't make sense, so it's fine. At least we've got a fifth match for tomorrow, which is something.